Hi, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours. I'm Ariella Coombs, and I'm one of the career coaches here at Work It Daily. I'm actually filling in for AT today. She's out of the office, but I'm really excited for our session today. One thing that I'm very passionate about as a coach is writing cover letters. And I know a lot of people have struggles with that, and they have issues writing their cover letters. And I'm kind of a nerd about writing cover letters, so I can't wait to talk about that a little bit more today. We also have a brand new video that we just rolled out, I think yesterday, on cover letters. So you should definitely check that out, and some more fun stuff throughout today's session. So first off, let's welcome everybody here. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome, welcome. I'm really excited to chat with you guys today about your questions and anything around job search and career development. For those of you who are new, we do have a few rules here and just things to kind of know, housekeeping, and etc. So if you have a question, please put it question in all caps, and then your question just regular, regular English, I guess. We just do that because it helps us find the questions easier with everybody here. Sometimes we get a few hundred people on, and it can be hard to find all the questions. So it just makes it easier for us to find those. The other thing is we do have a lot of people attend usually, so there's no guarantee that your question will be answered. Sorry, but I will try to get to as many as I possibly can today. Within our 30 minutes, okay? So just remember that. The other thing is, if you are interested in working with us, just really quick, we do have a great discount if you're watching Office Hours. You get $10 off if you use coupon code Office Hours when you sign up, okay? Just wanted to throw that out there before we get started. But yeah, please feel free to put in your questions as I'm talking. I'm gonna do a little kind of session on cover letters really quickly before I get to questions. But feel free to put them in the chat so we can kind of go and collect them as they're going. And I'll get to them after, okay? All right, I think that was it. Oh, also, if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please, please, please subscribe, because we have new videos every week. We have videos from our team of career support specialists, and we have videos from JT. And so they're all around job search and career development, and they're all super helpful. So you should definitely subscribe to keep updated with all that great content, okay? Awesome. Great. All righty. Awesome. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Sylvia. Awesome. Hi, Ashley. Great to have you guys here. Okay, so let's get started. So I want to talk a little bit. I've been going through our awesome coaching community in Work It Daily, and we get tons of cover letters in the program. People love to submit their cover letters because it's a hard thing to do, right? It's challenging. You have to write a new cover letter every time you apply for a job. Is the cover letter even necessary? Can I just use the same cover letter over and over again? There's so many questions around cover letters that people need answers. And, it's also never hurts to have a second pair of eyes too. I was a journalism major, so I love reading these, and we've seen some amazing cover letters as a result of using our guidelines, our templates, and just teaching people the disruptive cover letter techniques that we teach people. And it's just amazing how you can create such a powerful connection with an employer, a recruiter, and even just a coach. I feel like I'm connected with these people that are submitting these cover letters because I'm getting to know them. I'm learning who they are, why they want to work for this company, what they do. It's fascinating and it's intriguing. And that's what you need in order to stand out in the job search process these days. Because if you're just using outdated cover letter techniques, you're not really allowing yourself to stand out as much as you could, right? So I see people when they first join the program, some people will submit their cover letters and it says the generic, I'm writing to apply for the X, Y, and Z position at your organization. Here's my experience, and bullet points of things that they listed in their resume. And, please call me. That was the old, outdated way of writing cover letters. And it's no longer effective, because essentially what you're doing is reiterating your resume. And it's just a waste of a great job search tool. Okay. So something I tell people all the time about cover letters and resumes is your resume should be kind of like the highlight sheet of your top skills and experience that relate to the job that you're applying to. That's why it's so important to customize that, because you really want to focus on the specific skills and keywords that relate to that job. So people can say, go check, check, check. They have these skills. let's bring them in. But your cover letter should not be reading your resume, because that's just, why would you have two pieces of paper that essentially say the same thing? No, your cover letter should essentially be the voice to your resume, okay? It should say what your resume can't say. So your cover letter is there, the purpose of your cover letter is to create a connection with the employer and give a little introduction to who you are, what you do, and why you solve that problem that you solve, okay? This is what really helps you stand out. So your resume is basically your skill sheet, but what if you have the exact same resume as somebody else? You have the exact same skills and experience. What's going to allow you to stand out, and what's going to make them want to bring you in for an interview versus them? That's where your cover letter comes in, right? It's the connection that you're creating with that cover letter that is really going to allow you to stand out and create a connection that's going to want them to get to know you a little bit more and bring you in for an interview, okay? Okay, so today, as I was going through some of our resumes and cover letters in the program, I felt myself repeating the same 4 questions that I really need answered in a cover letter. And those 4 questions are these, okay? The first thing is, why do I feel connected to this company? Okay? What is the connection that you have with that company? Why do you want to work there more than any other company out there? Why do you want to be a part of this team? And why would you feel proud to be a part of this team? Okay? So important to answer that within your cover letter, because that creates an instant connection. Okay? And it creates some personalization. And we all know how personalization is so important these days. We live in a customized world. When you're talking to the organization, the hiring team, and you're creating a common ground, some connection there, you're speaking directly to them, they're instantly going to be interested, because it's not this generic, I'm applying for your company or this job at your company because you guys are great. No, it's, I feel personally a personal connection with your company because of this, and I would feel proud to work there because of this. Okay, you need to create that connection, because it really creates a powerful impact right from the get-go. And we know that recruiters and hiring teams don't spend a ton of time reading these things because they're very short on time. And it's very important for you to create that connection initially and immediately, because that's what's going to keep them reading. And that's what's going to get them interested in who you are and what you have to say. Okay. So question number 1, why do I feel connected to this company? Okay. Question number 2, what's the problem I solve? Okay. So I tell people all the time, if you feel like you're bragging in your cover letter, then you probably are. You should not be spending the entire time talking about yourself. With that said, you need to show them and kind of highlight what it is that you do. What's the pain that you alleviate for employers? How are you going to add value? Because if you don't showcase that, they're not going to know what it is what's your goal. Like, why do you want to be there? What kind of work do you want to do? What kind of problems do you want to solve for this company? But the key here is to really emphasize the company. Okay, always tie it back to the company. And this is why it's, again, I know it takes a long time sometimes to write these cover letters every single time, but being able to customize and personalize to the company, again, creates that great connection that's going to allow you to stand out. It's worth the extra time. Okay, so what's the problem I solve? And how does it tie with this company? Like, how am I going to tie it back? Okay, so that's question number 2. Question number 3, how have I solved that problem in the past? Okay, give me a narrative example, something that happened to you in the past that relates to the work that you do that was really powerful and it really meant something to you and it relates to the job and it shows that you have the skills and you can get results. Okay, the key here is to just not reiterate your resume. You can't just put bullet points of the things that you accomplished. No, this is the time for a very brief story, an example, a narrative example. Okay, it's something that's powerful. One instance that, I did this thing with these skills and I got results and it felt really good. And I really want to bring that value to your organization. Okay. So you see how it's all kind of working together and it's cohesive and it ties to the employer, but it also ties in your experience. Okay, so that's the 3rd question. The 4th is, what do I want to do next? Okay, and this is where you put in all the boring stuff, right? It's at the end of your cover letter and you're just telling them the specifics. I'm applying for this job. I'm at your company. Here's my contact information. I would love to chat with you more. Thank you so much for your consideration. Okay, so those 4 questions are so essential when you're writing your cover letters. Okay, and it's fun once you get the hang of it and you're answering these questions, and you should be thinking about these questions when you're researching companies. Okay, so why do I feel connected to this company? What problem do I solve? How do I solve it? And what do I want to do next? If you can answer those 4 questions throughout your cover letter and make it cohesive and really tie in the company and your value, you can create a very powerful cover letter that stands out and gets employers interested in you. Okay. So don't just waste the cover letter. It's a really valuable tool if you do it right. And within Work It Daily, we can help you craft what that message looks like. You might not get it the first time. You might have to do a few drafts. But it's important to really nail that message, because the thing is, once you start doing it, you're going to get faster at writing these cover letters, and you're going to know exactly what to say, and you're going to know what you can keep, what you need to change within each cover letter. So that way you're going to get really fast at doing these cover letters. So you don't have to worry about taking, a week to write a cover letter or a few hours, when you know how important it is to just jump on opportunities and apply and reach out to people and know your story and your connection. Okay. So I hope that helps with your cover letter writing. The other thing that I want to share with you, obviously check out that new cover letter video on our channel. The other thing I wanted to share with you is we have some free cover letter samples that we just posted on Work It Daily. We're just having Work It Daily. And so there's a couple of examples of, how you can articulate your message. So you should definitely check that out. It should be in the chat, the link, so you can just go and download those. And it can kind of give you a little bit of inspiration as to what you should be writing and what you should be thinking about, and how you should be connecting to those employers. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And if cover letters are one of those things that you absolutely hate doing, I guarantee that these will give you a little bit of inspiration and help you kind of work through that. Okay, awesome. All right, so that was my cover letter session. So let's get to questions. Let's see. Okay. Question. Okay. Is working with recruiters a waste of time? I've been trying to work with them for the past 3 years unsuccessfully. How can one successfully work with them? So great question. Working with recruiters is not a waste of time. Absolutely not. Because they're your connection to the company. Okay. So they're like the middleman or middlewoman, right? So if you can get, a conversation going with a recruiter, they're going to help you tailor your message. They're going to help you figure out what exactly you should be emphasizing to this employer, because they want you to get hired. Remember that. Like, their job is to get you hired, and so you're successful. So if they feel like you have the skills and the qualifications that it takes to do well in this role, they're really going to help you. And so it's important to have a good conversation, understand exactly what they're looking for, what they need from you, and really leverage them for all that they have, I guess, because they want the same thing you do, to get you hired, right? I will say that you have to remember and be empathetic to the fact that they're busy. They've got tons of people knocking on their doors. They have all these roles they have to fill quickly. They have unrealistic expectations a lot of the times from the companies that they're serving, and it can be tough. So if you don't hear from a recruiter, don't take it personally. Like, honestly, I feel bad for a lot of the recruiters, because they're just constantly being flooded with requests, and you need to do this, and there's so many things to fill. So don't feel bad if you don't hear back. Just keep pushing. Okay. Follow up if you don't hear back. And if you don't hear back after that, let's move on. Okay. But your goal should be to figure out what top 10 companies you really want to work for, and find the recruiter or the hiring manager or someone on the hiring team and reach out directly. Be proactive. Don't wait for recruiters to reach out to you. Be proactive and find those point people, so you can really work with them and be strategic and apply for the companies that you want to apply for. Okay. So if you're waiting for them, you're really putting your career in someone else's hands, right? And you can optimize your profile on LinkedIn, wait for recruiters to reach out to you. And you know what? Sometimes that works, and you should absolutely do that stuff, because you never know who's going to reach out to you. With that said, you need to be proactive, figure out what companies you want to work for, figure out who's on the hiring team, recruiter, hiring manager, whoever, and reach out on your own and really establish a relationship so you can work together to get that job. Okay. So definitely not a waste of time, but I understand that it can be frustrating, but you have to kind of, water off the back, right? Like you can't let it hold you back when you don't hear back or something doesn't work out, because the truth is it's very competitive and there's a lot going on, and you have to keep moving forward. Okay. So great question. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Question. How would you prepare for a role for jobs that require no experience? It's a bit confusing as they're willing to train you, but they want us to do role plays when we have no knowledge. Okay, so if their role doesn't require any experience and they're willing to train, like that's excellent, right? But you have to this is where you ask questions. This is where you connect with somebody who's on the hiring team or someone who's involved in the hiring process that understands what this role is. So look at the job description. Get an idea of what it is, this job is, what the kinds of things you're going to be doing. Think about all the transferable skills you have to offer and really emphasize those and showcase those. But if they have training, they really want people who come in with no experience, no bad habits, so they can train them to do it their way. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about that so much because, again, they want someone who doesn't have bad habits and they want to train them to do things their way, right? That's why they're asking for a clean slate. But if you really focus on showcasing your transferable skills and your soft skills within your interview, don't just say like, I'm a great team builder or I'm results driven. No, like show that through examples. Like show them why in the past you had an experience where you felt like you were great at team building or leadership or something like that. But really focus on those transferable skills, because that's what's going to be your selling point. If they don't want any experience, it's because, again, they don't want bad habits. They want a clean slate. They want to train you. They really want to train people. Okay. So yeah, again, to prepare, focus on the transferable skills. Think about your soft skills and how you can articulate those during an interview. Again, don't just say, I'm this. Show them with an example. And I think that's the best way for you to prepare for a role like this. Okay. Okay, question. How do you conduct an informational interview with a contact who is in another state? Great question. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, informational interviews are essentially like meetings, networking meetings with people who either work in a company that you want to apply for, they work in your field, that you want to learn a little bit more about the field, or they're just somebody that you feel like you should know in, your career, and you want to just, get to know them, start a relationship, put them in your Rolodex, in your network. Okay. And informational interviews, you're asking them questions, like informational questions. You're not asking for a job. You're basically just learning about whether it's the company, why they started working there, what they love about it, what's the culture like, just learning more about the company that they work at. Learning more about the industry. If you're looking to change careers, this is really important. What is it that you like about the industry? What are the pros, the cons? What are things that you learned that surprised you? It's just, think of it as conversations with somebody to help you kind of learn more about whatever it is, the company, the industry, the job, whatever. But you're never asking for a job in these cases. This is pure networking, okay? And it's very strategic and it's so important. So if you're not doing informational interviews and you're not chatting with people, you've got to get out there and do that, okay? This is the most strategic way to do it, and it's honestly the best use of your time. So setting up informational interviews with people in another state, thankfully, technology can help us do that, right? You can set up a Zoom meeting, like a video conference call. You can hop on the phone, or if you're meeting with somebody who works at a company that you want to work for and that company works there, schedule a trip and say, hey, I'm going to be in the area in 2 weeks. Would you like to grab coffee? Or, can I buy you lunch? That kind of thing. So if it's it really depends, but I say like a phone call, a Zoom, like video conference is great. Personally, when people want to reach out to me, I love to start with a simple email thread so I can get to know them, understand who they are, what their goals are, why they're reaching out to me. I want to get kind of a little bit of background there. So I would start with if you haven't already, have a simple email conversation, a little chain there. and then take it to the phone call, the Zoom video conference, or if you're really serious about this company, schedule a visit to that town. Don't tell them that you're just going to meet with them. Just say, I'm going to be in the area and I would love to, buy you coffee and let's chat. Okay. So that would be those would be my recommendations for that for sure. Excellent. Okay. Let's see. Okay, question. I have an upcoming interview. 80% of the job is account management and 20% is sales. I have lots of experience in the former, so I'm assuming account management, but you lack experience in sales. How can I get around this? Okay, so where most of the job is in your forte, like your account management, and that's most of the job. That's excellent. Since only a little piece of it is sales, I would really just focus on, what transferable skills you have that can kind of relate to sales. Okay. Did you work in any retail jobs? Did you ever fundraise or get on the phone, or do you have to do anything in your time career that can relate to sales? Think about those transferable skills and how they can apply, but also think about your unique value. Yeah, your account management, and maybe you don't have a ton of experience in sales, but what is going to make you have an edge over the other candidate who does have experience in sales? What is it about your experience and your skill sets, in your training or whatever it is that's going to make you a better fit? And, really emphasize that. But think about your transferable skills. Think about your unique selling points. Okay. What do you have that someone with sales experience doesn't? The other thing is set up an informational interview. Again, we just talked about this. Learn about what you need to do, or if there's any training or certifications or anything that can give you that experience that you need to, give you that edge. Let's see. I was going to say something else. But yeah, just think about what you can emphasize that you have already, and, how it's really going to help you be a better account manager than the person with sales. Or ask why. Why is it so important that I know this? And what is basic knowledge anyways? Do I just need to know terms? This is where an informational interview comes into play, because if you're interviewing with somebody and they're in a role like this, just ask them, how much experience, how much knowledge do I need to have in this area? What do I need to know? Can you recommend anything that I can do to help give me this edge? But yeah, again, I would focus on those transferable skill sets. Think about your unique selling points, set up informational interviews to get more knowledge, to understand exactly what it is you need to know and the skills that you need to have in your back pocket in order to succeed in this role. Okay. So hopefully that helps. All right. Question: how do you follow up after an interview if you're told the position has been put on hold and might be on the table in the near future? Okay, so great question. So if this happens to you, it happens all the time. Sometimes people think that they need to hire. Maybe there's budget cuts. The role doesn't exist anymore. Something moved around. It happens. Okay, but what you need to do, if you really want to pursue this company in the future, you need to keep a relationship going, a conversation going with these people. Because yeah, that position isn't available now, but again, it could be in the near future, or there could be another position at that company that is a better fit for you. So what you need to do is send a thank you note or a follow-up and say, thank you so much for considering me. It's too bad that this role didn't work out this time, but I would love to keep my relationship with you guys going because I really want to work for your company one day. And then maybe a couple of lines of talk about your connection again. I really want to work for your company because of this, this, and this. And I would love to, learn what I can do to earn a position there in the future. So is there anything I can do now? And how can I keep in touch with you for future opportunities? Okay. So keep that conversation going. Don't just let it end. End with a question. Say, how can I keep in touch with you? What's the best way for me to keep in touch with you about, upcoming opportunities? I really want to work for your company. These are the reasons why. I enjoyed my experience throughout this process, and I would love to keep in touch. Something like that. Keep that conversation going. Ask a question. Make them answer. And of course, if they don't answer, that's okay. At least you tried. You can always follow up in a month or two and just say, hey, like, I just want to know how things are going. If anything changed with the role that I applied for, just want to check in. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see. Okay, question. I know 2 hiring managers indirectly. They likely don't remember me, don't know if they have openings. Should I send them an email at work? Is this the same as a cover letter to a recruiter? So if you have a connection, if you have an email address, to be honest with you, yeah, reach out and just say, you know what, you probably don't remember me, but we met through X, Y, and Z or at X, Y, and Z. And I just wanted to reach out because I'm very interested in learning more about your company. And, I feel like you guys are doing some great things and I'd love to grab a coffee with you or, hop on a quick phone call. I just would love to learn a few things about your company and why you work there and what you love about what you do. Okay, so nothing crazy. Just acknowledge the fact that, hey, we've crossed paths in the past, but you probably don't remember me. I just wanted to reach out, and say hi and, just learn a little bit more about your company and what you're doing. Okay, and honestly, there's nothing I appreciate more than when people acknowledge this in their emails or in their LinkedIn invitations because, yeah, maybe this person, if you email and say, hey, I just wanted to connect and, talk about your company. If you don't acknowledge that you have crossed paths in the past, they might recognize your name or recognize you and say, oh man, like I know this person, but I don't really know this person. Where did I meet them? I don't know. I'm confused. This is embarrassing because I don't really remember. So how do I respond? So the fact that you're just addressing it in the beginning is so important in my opinion, because, and this goes for LinkedIn invitations, guys. Don't just send LinkedIn invitations to people that you kind of know, or just anybody, honestly. Like you need to address like, yeah, we met at this thing, a few years ago, or we exchanged emails once, or, just kind of give them an idea. Like, we know each other kind of, but I just want to kind of give you a reminder of who I am and why I'm reaching out because, personally, when someone connects with me on LinkedIn and I recognize the name, I recognize the face, don't know where I know them from, I'm a little embarrassed and I'm not sure how to respond. And sometimes it kind of keeps me from responding because I'm not sure, like, did I just meet this person last week at an event briefly? Did I talk to them 2 years ago? It's embarrassing. And so you want to just kind of address that right from the beginning. It also, creates that connection like, oh yeah, we know each other. So yeah, I'd be happy to grab coffee with you. I'd be happy to hop on a phone call or continue this on email. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Let's see. Okay, question. I had a virtual interview with Speedway. I never looked directly into my webcam when answering the recorded questions. Do you have any suggestions on how to master this technique? The recruiter told me that an in-person interview could be scheduled this week or next week. When would be a good time to follow up with her about a date and time? Okay, so a couple questions in here. So first, when you're doing video interviews, I think the most important thing you can do is practice. So it's not normal to just look into a camera that's like not a person and talk and be confident. It feels really weird. In fact, when I first started coaching and doing office hours like 4 or 5 years ago, I was so embarrassed to like talking to the camera because it just felt so unnatural. I wasn't talking to anybody, but I was talking to everybody. And it just takes practice to just, I'm focusing on that camera. I know what I'm saying. I'm confident in what I'm saying. I know that they're here on the screen, but I need to look as if like, it's a very weird feeling to like, I see them on the screen. I see me on the screen, but I can't look at me on the screen. I have to look at this camera. So some people have put Post-it notes or like those little sticky, like they have like sticker, arrows and stuff, like some kind of reminder to say, look at the camera when you're talking, do that, because it takes practice, but having a little reminder there being like, look here when you're talking is pretty helpful. So I would recommend that, but definitely practice, like even record yourself and say like, do like a mock interview with yourself and practice answering common interview questions on camera so you can kind of get used to that feeling. Okay. So that addresses the first one. So the second one, the recruiter told me that an in-person interview could be scheduled this week or next week. When's a good time to follow up with her about a date and time? So unless they gave you specifics on when you should follow up, I would give it a few days. I don't know when the recruiter told you this, but if it's been a few days, just shoot a quick email and say, hey, I'm really interested in this opportunity. I just want to follow up, see, how things are going. Is there anything else I can provide that will help me kind of move forward? Just want to check in. If it was just today, I'd just hold off for a few days. And yeah, if it was a few days ago, maybe reach out today. The only key thing when you're reaching out to people, especially recruiters, is never reach out on Monday because their inboxes are full and they're grumpy and they're coming off the weekend and they don't want to be in the office. Who does, right? So don't send these follow-up emails or messages or networking invitations or anything on a Monday. Always wait until after Tuesday. Okay. But yeah, I would just give it a few days perhaps and then see where you're at. Okay. I have time for one more question. And then we can go from there. Okay. Oh, I love this question. I'm going to a networking event locally this evening outside with food and music. Yay. That's so awesome. How can I make the most of it? Okay. I love networking. I was actually a part of a local networking group in my area, and we organized events. And I did it personally because I used to hate networking. Okay. I am very shy, and it's hard, as you guys know, just walk up to some stranger and start a conversation out of thin air. Okay. So I joined this group so I can get more comfortable and force myself to go to these events and get more comfortable and start talking with, strangers and just get in there and learn how to do it. Okay. And from that experience, I've learned that the most important thing you can do is just go in with a smile and get there a little early. So, you're not kind of jumping into an event that's already kind of bustling. People are already talking to people and you don't know where to go, and you grab your drink and you go in the corner. That's never fun. So I recommend getting there early. Just constantly find a way to remind yourself to smile, because people want to talk to people who are warm and welcoming. And obviously when you're at a networking event, you're nervous and you're uncomfortable and you feel awkward. So it's easy to just kind of look around, fidget, maybe you don't realize it, but you're frowning and you're not really sure. So just constantly remind yourself, okay, I need to smile. Just smile, be welcoming, warm, and just be excited to be there. So get there early, smile. And what I also like to say is there are always those people who are in the corner and they're feeling uncomfortable at these events, right? We all do it. And so my favorite technique when I'm at a networking event, I don't know anybody, is to go and find that person or those people and start a conversation with them, because they will be so thankful that you came over and talked to them first. It's not only going to give you a little boost of confidence because, you're starting that conversation, you're talking with them, but they're just going to be more inclined to talk to you because they're just thankful that someone's coming over and talking to them and being, welcoming and, that kind of thing. So find that loner, find the person in the corner who's uncomfortable on their phone, just sipping their drink, doesn't really know why they're there. They might leave. Go find that person and start a conversation. That's a great way to warm up and see, who this person is, figure out who else is in the room. The other thing you can do, and I'm not sure what kind of event this is, but if you can, see who else is going. If there's an attendee list, and say, okay, this person's from this company, I really want to talk to them. Or this person knows Joe, I want to talk to them because we already have someone in common. Or this person's in this industry. Maybe if you can, be a little strategic in terms of okay, I'm going to talk to these people, and I'll give you some kind of direction, some goals. And speaking of goals, my last tip here is your goal should be to talk to at least and have full conversations with at least 3 people when you're at this event. Okay. There are so many times that when I first started going to networking events, I would go, I'd be uncomfortable. I'd be in the corner, awkwardly standing there with my drink and, just on my phone. And I'd say, you know what? I'm going to talk to one person, then I'm going to leave. Like, this is just so uncomfortable. And I would start that conversation and I would go home. And I felt like I wasted my time because I didn't actually connect with anybody. I didn't actually get out of my comfort zone and connect with more people. So after that, I started making a goal for myself, talk to 3 new people every time you go to a networking event. And you know what? I also added in, if you see people that you know, go and talk to them too. Don't spend the entire night there talking with them, but reconnecting with people that you already know is also networking. So make a goal of meeting 3 new people and trying to talk to, if you know anybody else there, have a quick refresher conversation, catch up. And before you know it, you're going to have a few contacts. You're going to have some good conversations. Maybe you're going to schedule some follow-up meetings and you're going to have a good time. So make that a goal. And obviously it's different for everybody, but do talk to more than one person before you go home, because otherwise you're just kind of wasting your time. And you just want to be strategic and think about your goals and what is it you're trying to achieve with this event. Are you just trying to get out there, meet people in your community? Are you trying to meet people at certain companies? Is it an industry-related event? Are you just trying to get more comfortable with networking and meeting people? Think about your goals and figure out how you can kind of maneuver that at this event, okay? So hopefully that's helpful. But all right, you guys. Well, I can't believe it's already 1:30. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys learned something today. And if you need any cover letter help, again, go check out that new video on our channel and check out those free cover letter samples. We're going to drop it in the chat. So definitely check those out. Get a little inspired. And of course, if you need a second pair of eyes on your cover letter and you feel like, oh my gosh, cover letters are so crazy and overwhelming, and I'm really not sure if I'm doing this right, join us inside Work It Daily, because honestly, we're all kind of a nerd about something, and I'm a nerd about resumes and cover letters. I love reviewing them. And I just get so inspired seeing those cover letters inside our program and how they go from literally the worst cover letter ever to something so inspiring and powerful that, of course they're getting interviews, because why wouldn't you? Like, it's cool. And so if you need help, definitely check us out. Use coupon code OFFICEHOURS when you're signing up for our premium subscription. You'll save $10 a month. So definitely check it out. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe, because then you're going to get notified when we get new videos on our channel. We do that multiple times a week. So definitely do both of those things. Cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good rest of the week. All right, bye, everyone. Yay.